Are you a people leader looking for ways to know when to direct, train, or coach your employees? I have some advice for you. Hey everyone, it's Anthony Onesto, and this is my Burn the Box drop for this week. What we're talking about is switching hats. How to know or teach your leaders, or if you're a leader, how do you know when to coach your employees, train your employees, or direct them? We all know leadership is an art and a science, but before we jump into the advice here, let's talk about why should we even consider thinking about coaching? Well, there's business impact, right? Always business impact. First of all, by just including coaching in your framework, you can increase productivity by 88%. Now, if you don't do any coaching, it only increases productivity by 22%. So just by adding coaching, you're almost 3 times your productivity increase. There's an ROI on this. This actually has shown that putting a coaching environment in your company will increase the return on investment by 7-fold, in some cases 49. Employee engagement. Of course, if you're coaching your employees, they're more engaged, they're more productive. 81% of professionals say that organizations with a robust coaching culture tend to have superior leadership. And then retention. We're always talking about how to retain our employees and our highest performers. This actually by coaching, it reduces employee turnover. So how do we bring this all together? Well, of course, I am in a Star Wars kind of framework these days with this new show, Ahsoka. And episode 5 was a culmination of what we all were looking for, this reconnection of Ahsoka to her master. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but let's just say it's really a remarkable episode. But of course, I'm geeking out on this from a Star Wars, from an HR perspective. It's the connection of that master to Padawan, this coach to coachee, and seeing the evolution of these different things and the way the master is going across and looking at how to coach, how to direct. At moments within the episode, the coach is directing. In some cases, they're coaching. So it really lends to perfect timing of what we're talking about today. And in fact, when we went internally at Suzy to ask our current people leaders, reminisce about the most impactful leaders they've had, a couple of things came out. Well, one was effective mentorship. These leaders had an ability to teach and guide and transcend that task delegation. There was a meaningful connection. So it wasn't always about business, but it was a human connection for a lot of our leaders. Their leaders had strategic vision, the capability to link strategic efforts to day-to-day tasks, and then personal growth, realizing the strengths and facilitating personal and professional growth within these team members. So what's the advice, Anthony? You've gone through why it's important, what folks at Suzy are thinking about. Well, there are 3 hats, and this is something we recently learned through our coaching and training provider and partner, Bravely. So we had a session about coaching, and the facilitator talked about wearing 3 different hats: a coaching hat, a trainer hat, and a director hat. So the question, and I'm going to talk about each hat, and then how do we think about using each hat in different situations? So as a coach, your role is to empower the team to find solutions and motivate them by building self-confidence. So coaching, it's not directing someone or giving them the answer, but instead getting them to a place where they figure out a solution or the answer on their own. It is incredibly powerful way of thinking about providing mentoring or coaching to your team. The second is trainer. At certain points of your employee's life cycle, you're going to be responsible for training them, to developing their skills. A lot of this you've seen in onboarding when they're relatively new to the organization. If they're more junior or inexperienced, we're going to talk about some of the grids and how to identify which coaching methodology, but it's also through that continuous learning. And the last hat that you're going to wear is director. There are going to be times where you're like, here is the answer. This is what you need to do. Through direct instruction, you're going to set deadlines. I need you to do this thing by this date. And then monitoring. There's a great quote, Ronald Reagan, trust but verify. So sending them off, but doing check-ins, like how are things going, and monitoring their progress. So the 3 hats are coaching hat, trainer hat, and director hat. And so now how do you apply? How do you know when to be a coach or to be a trainer or to be a director? And you can think about the situation or your employee in 3 different kind of buckets, or 4, excuse me. Low competence, high confidence, low competence, low confidence, high competence, and low confidence, and then high competence and high confidence. So let's just unpack each 4 of those. So low competence is someone that is new to the role or new to the company. They're not familiar. They don't have the skill sets or the knowledge, but they are eager. They have high confidence. In this world, you would direct and train those individuals. So you are looking at, because of the low competence, you're looking to direct and train them. You're saying, I need this by this time, because they don't have the skill sets. And it's all about the autonomy you give to them and their different levels of autonomy. Next level is you have someone that has low competence and low confidence. So this is someone that's struggling on your team. They should be doing better or performing better than they have, and they know it. And so here is where you coach. What is happening? You're asking them questions, trying to build up, why are they being challenged right now? Why is there performance challenges for them? But there's also an opportunity with these folks to train and direct. It's actually this area where it's low competence, again, low performance, and low confidence, where someone, engagement or motivation. This is where you want to really figure out, how do you coach, train, and direct? It's one of the rare pieces in this framework where you're going to use all three hats. Next is high competence, someone performing really well, understands their role and the tasks that are needed, and performs well on a regular basis, but they have low confidence. They feel like maybe they're not growing or they're not performing to the best of their capabilities. In this case, you're going to want to coach them. You don't want to give them the answers. You don't want to train them on something because they have that high competence. You want to coach them instead. What is holding you back? What are the elements? You're going to ask them coaching questions to improve their confidence, because they're already having high performance or high competence. And then last is high competence, high confidence. This is your top performers. These are the folks that you're not regularly checking in with. You're delegating to these folks. You're saying, here, I need you to do this thing, or you own this piece of the business, and let me know how to remove obstacles. In some cases, you can delegate and coach in this framework here, but you're going to be coaching and delegating these individuals because, again, you're going to have a high level of autonomy for them. They have high competence and also high confidence. And so if you watch the Ahsoka episode 5 episode, you see that her master transitions really seamlessly. And again, you have to be an HR and a Star Wars geek, and I say that with love, to really look and see these things. But when Ahsoka is in low confidence, he coaches her. When she lacks competence, he directs her. He's very directive. And then finally, when it's all done and he feels like she has high competence and high confidence, he delegates. And that is an important message. So if you leave with anything, three hats, the three hats are coach, train, and direct. And then the matrix is low competence, high confidence. There you're going to direct and train. Low competence and low confidence, you're going to coach, train, or direct. It's one of the ones that has all three involved. High competence and low confidence, you're going to coach. Why are you struggling? This is a person that should be performing at a high level. And then you have your high performers, high competence, high confidence. You're going to delegate in and sometimes coach for those individuals. That's my latest Burn the Box drop for this week. Thanks for listening.